Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yana Bhutale Swam Rupaksham Mayam Durati Swaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shutaparakamam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prajana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Shcha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantara Kantara Mastute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasinabhyevacha Paridanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Okay. Let's find something here. So in the chapter 4, the Lord told Arjuna that all kinds of sacrificial work culminate in knowledge, but at the end of chapter 4, the Lord advised Arjuna to wake up and fight, being situated in perfect knowledge. Therefore, by simultaneously stressing the importance of both work and devotion and inaction and knowledge, Krishna has perplexed Arjuna and confused his determination. So that's interesting. In spiritual world, sometimes we think, wow, I get excited about certain things and certain activities that are to be performed. And now I know what spiritual life really is. You know, what's fun is this? I'm really excited. And then we find out that actually that's not the way to do it. Ever had that experience? I ever had the experience that you're performing spiritual life and then you're actually informed that's not the way to do it. No? And then what happens? Then you become bewildered. Then what is it? I've seen like this, I've heard like that, and I've done it so many times, and now I've been told that's not the way to do the things. Because we performed, maybe the activity was correct, but it wasn't performed with proper understanding, and that's why the result wasn't also appropriate. So spiritual life, we cannot just say it's subtle. It's extremely refined. And that refinement will result in all kinds of various options. It's not just going to be so absolutely deterministic, because that subtlety varies. Like just very simple, gross, example. Let's say a few degrees if you're closer or farther away from the sun. It makes big difference, no? It will make enormous difference. So spiritual life also, it's far more even refined. It makes big difference in a way, how do we perform spiritual activities. So that's why Arjuna is also here confused. Krishna is saying, you're supposed to do the work, but then don't do the work in this way, and it should be in devotion, and there should be inaction in knowledge. So Arjuna is confused. So then Arjuna is asking a question. It's said in here, 5th chapter, that is similar that he asked in the beginning of 3rd chapter. He says, now, okay, which is better, work in devotion or renunciation of the work? So should I renounce? Should I work? Becomes confusing. So and I'm sure it's confusing to you right now. What should we? Should we renounce or should we work? Work in devotion. But what does that mean, work in devotion? Work but offered results to Krishna, yes. So Krishna replies that although the results of renunciation and devotional service are ultimately same, so results are same, but the devotional service is superior because it frees one from reactions that one can quickly and easily achieve Krishna. So that one can quickly. So it's deep. It's very deep. Like I was just thinking, today I've been discussing something a little bit with Tapan Prabhu. Is there at the table. And many times when we also perform certain activity, we think that whatever experience I gain now, that's what it is. That's all that it is. And then usually mine has a tendency, okay, I know this, now let me try something else. Because I feel, that's already experienced, that's already known, that's already understood, and that's it. Now let me go somewhere else. No, that's not spiritual life. Do we do that with chanting? How many times we have chanted? Is it said that we should stop it? No. Chanting is the process, chanting is the means, chanting is the goal as well. And chanting continues even after you reach the goal, because it keeps on ever expanding. So same activity. One has to perform the same activity, but the point is one has to go deeper. That's the spiritual life, that's the spiritual realization. So it's not just I shift from one to another thinking, okay, this is it, this is done. No, one has to dive deeper, so much deeper. Then one will get so much more also. And then one will actually realize what is that activity. So here Krishna is saying, what is he saying? He said, don't reject the work, but just perform your work with proper consciousness, with proper understanding. Then you will have so many different types of realizations. Go deeper, deeper, deeper. Don't just think, maybe this, maybe that. In this situation, this doesn't work. Okay, let me change, let me do something else. Yeah.
But one also wants to do variety also.
One wants variety.
Variety also.
That's why, because that is the sign of someone who is therefore the neophyte. Because you wouldn't have to have variety if you would have gaining the taste. Just like, for example, Prabhupada said, our only goal is chanting. Practically, you don't have to do anything else. And everything will be manifest. Now you think, how is that possible? Well, we see examples in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's possible. Srivas Thakur, he didn't go and work and earn money, just performing devotional service. And he had everything provided. That's the spiritual life. Oh, that's the spiritual life. That's the mercy of the Lord. So we don't have to do anything else but chant. But because we can't chant, we don't go that deep, we don't have that focus and concentration, we don't have that faith. That's why then our mind, Prabhupada said, yeah, he said it. The actual business is just go to holy place, Mayapur, because we can't do it there. Because there's taste, what is taste? You can get so much taste just by one particular type of performing the devotional service. There are 9 auspices. You don't have to do all 9. You can just manage it, but because we're not steady, flickering and just looking for something else. And that just points that we are at the neophyte stage. That just reveals our position. That's all. If you look at the stages for one particular type of activity, then just deeper and deeper and deeper. You don't have to change. You don't have to, oh, maybe I should do this, maybe that's better, or maybe I should do. That is what you do, then forget the taste. Explain here to our children. My dear Arjun, you should work hard, proper practice, with devotion, but so then these were 1 to 6 and 7 to 12. After describing the superiority of devotional service, Krishna explained how to work devotion with detachment. One in knowledge. One knowledge of Krishna understands his compatibility with material. Okay, we lost network. What's going on? Are we back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well. So one in knowledge of Krishna understands his incompatibility with material nature and thus acts only for purification, giving the results of his work to Krishna. Thus he remains unattached, performing work as a matter of duty. So yeah. Sometimes it becomes a little dry. We might not be qualified, we might not be purified, but at least we should act as a matter of duty. Okay, then following 12, 13 to 16. The transcendentalist who works with detachment has knowledge of the relationship between living entity, material nature, and the supersoul. Although the modes of nature or the supersoul may appear to be cause of action and reaction, they are not responsible. When the living entity desires to enjoy material nature, the modes carry out the necessary actions with the permissions of the super soul. So that's very interesting. So this has been described to some extent in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita at the end, and then also at the end of the 13th chapter. This is described: material nature, what is super soul, and what is living entity, and who is responsible for certain reactions of a particular activities one performed. So these are very important interconnections between nature, super soul, and the living entity. So if we can understand these, then we have understood a lot. So it's just like a triangle kind of, it's super soul, living entity, and material nature, all connected. How they're interconnected. But ultimately, we can't blame Krishna or material nature for anything. Of course, definitely we won't praise or express gratitude towards them when there is something good happening. But in general, we do have the tendency to find fault either with Krishna or with material nature when things tend to go wrong. But it's all about living entity. If you read, I think it's the text 21 in the 13th chapter, it says that the living entity by its own actions creates suffering or enjoyment. That's all. And material nature is just facilitating, and super soul is just sanctioning. That is all that is going on. So therefore we have to understand that responsibility of the living entity itself that it has and how it should act. And then therefore this relationship between Ishvara, Jiva and Prakriti. That's a very important point. So then vision of Jnani, or somebody who is meditating on Paramatma. So one is who is fixed in the knowledge. This is from 17 to 26. Of course, many of you have not attended these discussions of the 5th chapter, but at least now you can hear about summary, and through these questions we will come to understand what's going on. One who is fixed in the knowledge of the relationship between the living entity, material nature, and the super soul, takes shelter of the super soul, becomes enlightened, and attains liberation. A Krishna conscious person enjoys unlimited pleasure within himself by fixing his consciousness on Krishna. Always busy working for the welfare of all being, he soon achieves liberation. Okay, then last section, 27th verse to 29th, these are only 3 verses. Krishna introduced Dhyana Yoga at the end of this chapter, and will elaborate on it in chapter 6. This is what presently we are discussing. So he also presents the peace formula in the last verse. He himself is the supreme enjoyer and controller and is beneficiary of all human activities. Okay, so now let's embark on our corrections. Actually, very sorry, why people who have written the test didn't come for the correction of the test. That's very unfortunate. Because now how. Okay, anyway, this is, who doesn't have it? 2, 1, this one I will take, and 1 second, or you take this. Okay, so something at least. You have some pen or something? Pen. How will you correct? How will you give the marks? So the first question was from the verse number 3. So that's 5:3. So it's us here. Why there is no duality in mind of Vaishnavas? Why there is no duality in the mind of Vaishnavas? So what was the answer? Some of you have. No, because he has your test.
So you can take my
No. Now that would be a little bit.
what?
He's fully
Huh?
engaged in serving Krishna. He is not materially born.
Okay, who is always fully Krishna conscious. So he doesn't feel neither hatred nor desire for the results of his actions. That's a position of a Vaishnava. And the verse itself, it says, one who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renowned. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. Okay, so here we have one answer which is correct that I have. So any questions? Anybody has anything else? Yes.
Sometimes we feel that universe is driving us, but sometimes we think that we should manifest all the things which we want. But if life goes on our want, that feel matters. Because I plan so many business, so many initiatives, but I think I'm the most feather on the planet. I feel every business, every initiative, everything, but after some time I'm trying to do nothing. Because whatever I think out in my mind, I just say, I don't know what I'm doing, but you are trying to be. So I should follow the universal line, or I should use my brain.
You should follow what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. That's what we should do. That's why he spoke it. That's not our brain, because till now you've been following your brain and you've been failure all the time. No? Even if apparently you're a so-called successful person, still you won't be satisfied and happy. It's impossible. From material perspective, it's impossible. So therefore we follow these instructions. This is the guidelines. These are the guidelines.
Actually, in my life, I want to become Karma Yoga. And this is the reason from 3 years back, I started a non-profit company as well for with five sustainable mission in green education, health and peace. And I'm having a great project for clean and green. Means I can make the Bombay clean, I can make the Bombay clean. But the thing is that means I'm living in my life in many challenges.
We have to discuss that later.
Okay.
That's on the personal basis. That we'll do on personal basis. Okay, let's now focus on this. Just if you can, you see, if you focus on this, you'll get an answers as well. That's what Bhagavad is all about. It's very interesting. So okay, the first question, anybody has anything else? Or whatever has been stated now, what we read? So one who performs activities for pleasure of Krishna is already liberated, and there is no duality. Even though one may be experienced like this failure in business, failure in this, failure in that, whatever it might be, no? Whatever it might be, failure or success, it doesn't matter. One still performs devotional service. Yes?
So even when somebody performs actions for satisfaction, then also there can be failure and success.
Yeah. So that's why it depends on Krishna to give the result. You like to perform duty, but you have no right to result.
With that also it can be like.
So you have to learn how to become detached. If you become detached and continue performing your duties, no matter again what circumstances, that is the position of liberation.
Isn't it like he's feeling happiness or distress for Lord, not for himself?
No, because he knows the failure or success, it's up to the Lord, it's up to him. And why do I have to? That's up to him. If he wants, Prabhupada said when he was coming to the West, he said, failure or success, whatever again, make me dance, my dear Lord, let me be a puppet in your hands. Now make me dance. If you wish, then it will happen. If you don't wish, it won't happen. That's it. That's the whole. Yes, but you have to do your best. Because you want to please Krishna. You have to do your best. But then again, you can't be indifferent or I'll just do like this and whatever happens. No, you have to do your best. You have to do your best. and really endeavor with all your intelligence and the mind fixed on Krishna for the pleasure of Krishna. That's bhakti. Okay, so number 1 is answered. Okay, is that clear? So I think that was pretty easy for those who had Bhagavad Gita available to write the answer. And number 2 now, this is from 5.5. Is destination of Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga same? So what is the question? Is it same? Huh? Yes, you say yes. Is there any other answer? Okay, Srila Prabhupada, the verse itself, it points out, one who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. So, yeah, it is the same. Sankhya Yoga, one has to become detached from matter, and in devotional yoga processes, one has to attach himself to the work of Krishna consciousness. So Sankhya means detachment from matter, and devotional service means attachment to Krishna. So when you're attached to Krishna, you're detached from matter. Once you're detached from matter, what else is left? You have to be attached to something. So, but this Sankhya, it's the spiritual Sankhya, it's transcendental Sankhya, it's not material Sankhya. Because there are 2 types of Sankhya, one is atheistic and one is devotional. So when we talk about devotional Sankhya, which is presented by Lord Kapila Dev in 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, then yes, then the answer is yes. They're the same. Okay, actually if you want, you can take your own, because it's not, you can exchange, you can take your own. I just see what is there. Because in this way you will learn at least what you have. Actually, it's much more fun if somebody else does it, and you find and you come up with. Okay, change it back. Later on, you can have it. Later on, not yet. Not yet. And you'll see what has been written. There are all kinds of interesting statements, very educational statements. So, okay, number 3. That's again still from 5.5. Renunciation of work is better or work in devotion? Work in devotion. See, we actually, okay, but you see, we answered that already in one sense earlier, but it's a little tricky now. But work in devotion, yes, that's the point. It's work in devotion. Okay, next, number 4. Krishna scroll it down. What is sannyas and what is not sannyas according to Krishna? 5.6. Okay. So what is Krishna saying? So that means verse itself. So then one doesn't have to go too much through the quite an elaborate purport given here. And where Srila Prabhupada explains the different types of sannyas, Mayavadi sannyas and devotional sannyas. So what does Krishna says? What did you answer? Yeah.
Sannyas, whatever Krishna is, sannyas.
You read what is written there.
Engaged in devotional service.
Sannyas means engaged in devotional service.
Not sannyas, merely renouncing all activities.
Okay, Falgu Vairagya is just ordinary so-called sannyas. Because that's interesting. You know that sannyas is forbidden in this age. It's stated in Shastras that actually one shouldn't take sannyas in this age. Age of Kali. Basically one is not qualified for sannyas. But what kind of sannyas? That is something that it's not understood. Sannyas means just renouncing the work. not working in devotion. That is the big difference. This is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas from a Mayavadi. I mean, he wasn't a Mayavadi. Keshav Bharati wasn't a Mayavadi. But he was coming in that Sampradaya, which means renunciation of the work itself, but not work in devotion. So that's why Krishna, merely renouncing all activities and yet not engaging in devotional service and love of the Lord, cannot make one happy. So it's not just like Arjuna. Why is Krishna talking about this? Because Arjuna just said, I don't want to fight. It's too much. It's too difficult to fight my relatives, friends, teachers, and so forth. I'm just going to renounce. I better go to forest. How many times we face some difficulty and say, okay, Jordas, absolutely, leave it. That's not the point. You have to do it. But again, like I said, it's not when difficult. You see, this is very, like in the beginning I said, it's not just I renounce the work because I don't like the work. This is another very interesting way, how do you explain, that's why Gita is called the art of all work. How do you explain, if people ask you, what is Bhagavad Gita? What is Bhagavad Gita? So you can use analogy. This is about a software engineer who didn't like his work, and he was struggling. But then he received the instructions from Bhagavad Gita, and then he understood actually how to perform his work for the pleasure of God. And that's how he enhanced his work rather than just renouncing it. That's what Bhagavad Gita is, no? So how to become even better and more proficient in your activities. This is what Bhagavad Gita will teach you.
Simplifies the process.
Okay, simplifies the process. Clarifies the process. Okay, so number 5. What word does Krishna use for a Krishna conscious sannyasi? So there was one option. So what did you choose? This is from 5, 6, and 7. Which word Krishna is using? Yog Yukta Muni. So that's B. Harigor, you got that correct? Okay, I'm asking, did you get that correct? Whose one you have? Oh, okay. He's not here. That's so easy. You just, at least, but he put something wrong or nothing? At least you could have attempted, no? Maybe there will be some hope. But that's so simple, no? Yoga Yukta, it's given in the text number 7, work in devotion. Because if you read the previous verse, which we did, no? Renouncing all activities in devotional service, Yoga Yukta, one engaged in devotional service. It has been given. Well, what can be done? Okay, so number 6. Why does a person in divine consciousness, although engage, this is going to be a funny one. Okay, why does a person in divine consciousness, although engaged in sensory activities, doesn't think himself as a doer? So A, B, C, or E. So what do you have?
Actually, A and B both are right.
So you think it's B, you think it's A?
Yes, I think both are right.
Yes, both are right. How nowadays?
According to what I found in the
A. Well, what about E? No. What about C? Oh, we have D. C does not. D should have come also down. A, B, C, D. Actually, all of them are correct except E. So now whatever has been ticked, you get only 1/4. If you just did one, You get only 1/4 of the mark, basically. Because all the four are correct. And there's none of the above, it's completely, I don't know who plays this like that, just to trick you.
All of the.
Yeah, it should be all of the above.
So there is no such option, so none of the all is correct.
Yeah, well, too late now. Okay, number 7. Explain how a jnani acts without incurring reactions with reference to Sanskrit verses and analogies from Bhagavad Gita. So how does jnani act? According to Bhagavad Gita from 7 to 11. Okay, what is the answer? Yes.
The yogi abandoning attachment act with body, mind and even with the senses, only for the purpose of purification.
Okay. Only for the purification of what?
Purification. Only for the purpose of purification.
He's doing everything for the purpose of purification. Whatever he does.
Attachment act with body, mind and feelings, only for the purpose.
Okay, body, mind, intelligence. Any other answers? He's performing. Is that mentioned or you're just refer to Bhagavad Gita? Don't speculate.
No.
Yeah, we need the correct answer because also there are certain things written in the. That's number 11. Okay, anyway, we'll come to one more answer a little bit later. There's going to be more specific question. Number 8. Give the English meaning of the word pradhan. Manifestation. Pradhan. Pradhan, manifestation. And if I say pradhan?
To give, to offer.
To offer. So the difference is in long A.
One is PRADA, but another is PRADHA.
Oh, H is the difference. Pradhan and pradhan. Pradhan and pradhan. Okay. Okay.
Pradhan means some total manifestation of the three modes of material.
Some total manifestation of the three modes of material nature. So we have Prakriti, Pradhan, and what is the third manifestation when we study about the creation of the universe?
Purusha.
Wrong. What is Pradhan, Prakriti, and Mahatattva? Right, Mahatattva. Sum total. Okay, so which one we are now? Number 9. So that is text 10. Now, how can we perform our duties without attachment to results, rendering results to Krishna? How can we do that? How can we offer results to Krishna and not being attached? So, any?
Here in the street, I go to has written.
Don't mention the name.
We should know that everything belongs to Krishna and everything engaged in his service has nothing to do with the results.
Did you write this from Bhagavad Gita or you were speculating? Really? Where is that? Huh? Can you read again?
We should know that.
Wait a second. We should know. I'm just looking. Where is it? We should know. There's nothing we should know in this verse. We should know.
The main practice is
Huh?
okay, the sentence is from question.
He paraphrased.
No, but why you did that? Now you get minus. Okay, what else he said?
Everything belongs to Krishna.
Wait a second. Here it said, Krishna is the proprietor of everything. One who knows perfectly well that everything belongs to Krishna, that he is proprietor of everything, and that therefore everything is engaged in the service of the Lord, naturally has nothing to do with the results of his activities, whether virtuous or sinful. So if we know everything belongs to Krishna and should be engaged for Krishna, then one naturally has nothing to do with any kind of result. Yeah, that's what we were discussing. Acting for sake of Krishna, not being attached. Then it makes things easier. But if you are attached and you think yourself to be doer, then whether sinful or pious, you get the reaction. As long as you claim the credit, you gain, or you are entitled, responsible for whatever reaction of the work it is. But as long as you're performing it as devotional service, you're just doing it for sake of Krishna, and now whatever result it might be, you're not affected by either good or bad. Okay, 1 second, there was some... Okay, no questions. Okay, next one. So, what is the analogy? One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering results under the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action as...
The lotus leaf is
So that's pretty much, the thread of the whole, that analogy is the conclusion, the purport of the whole text, number 10. So if you can remember this, that if you're unattached to performance of the duty, but surrendering results, it's not that you don't endeavor and you don't try to do it but the best. So that's like being the lotus, being in the water but not being touched by water. So you won't be affected. That's what we were going through this. Like it seemed like you can give just this one answer, like lotus in the water but not touched by the water. Actually, you could have answered the text number 9 also like this, and even earlier you could have used the same answer, which would be correct. That's fine. But just to emphasize again, this number text, if you can at least remember this, that performance of the duty for sake of Krishna's pleasure and us being detached from it, it's just like being that lotus in the water and therefore not being affected by any kind of results, good or bad. So that's not easy. That's a very high stage of devotional life actually. That's Nishkam Karma Yoga. It's not easy. Why do we do anything in life? Because we have some expectations. And when the expectations are not met, then what? Then we are disappointed and we are not willing to act again, right? And that's not good. That shows very attached type of mentality and controlling mentality and enjoying mentality, and these are the biggest reasons of our bondage here in this material world, because we think that we can control this world for our own pleasure. But this world belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. And even if we do manage to control, which even Hiranyakashipu couldn't do it, or Ravana, but then, and they were not happy. So then we should learn something from that. It's so funny how people, who are considered very successful materially people, and then others try to emulate that and try to imitate and then try to do anything to achieve their position. But those who are in those positions are so miserable. And people are so foolish thinking, oh, how happy they are. And just because those people, understand that the other ones, they're thinking, oh, how happy I am, then therefore I have to pretend that I'm happy. But actually they're the most miserable. Can we understand what kind of madness that is? Somebody thinks I'm happy, but actually I'm absolutely miserable. but because I somehow have to pretend, therefore, that I am happy to appear better than what anyone else is, and at least I'll get some pleasure out of that. But what kind of consciousness that is? What kind of state of existence that is? And that's all that's going on. I get certain type of job, and I work. And okay, I'll give you an example. Like I was just thinking earlier, we discussed that one, right? If you remember, people go to the West, and then they work there. Like I really know how they work because I spoke to so many in different places, in UK, in Holland, in Sweden, in US. There's so many Indians. They go there in different places, and then they really have to work hard, and all kinds. It's a lot of sacrifice, and and everybody here in India thinks, oh, they're in heaven. And therefore, when they come back, it's like, oh, we are so proud we have been abroad, and But it was hellish. It was hellish. But because here everybody else thinks that yes, this is the goal of life, and they must be successful and happy. Then even them, when they come, they pretend to be that's to be the case. But it's just illusion. It's just bluffing. Just a lot of bluffing. So that's very unfortunate. Okay, so number 11. Why do some Mayavadi sannyasis divert from the path of self-realization to philanthropic work? So what is the answer here? A, B, C, D. What do you have? Now you look at your answers. What do you have? What is it? Which one?
B.
He said B. You're joking. Really? You chose this now? See, this is where the fun is. See, how you could... Is that in Bhagavad Gita? You read that verse? You were having Gita in front of you. You were in the hurry. So now you get minus. That's wrong. B is wrong. What about A? You have A? Somebody has A? No? Okay, D, they've established personal relationship with Lord Krishna. So that's why they already did the job and now they can do something else. Is it there? No? Then what is the answer? Tapan, what did Sagar say?
C.
So you got B. So that was wrong, see? Okay, so it's B. And C, Baba, I'm just testing. Okay, number 12. Purified activities performed by acting in Krishna consciousness are called what? A, B, C? How do you know?
Yes.
Okay, what do you have? A, and what do you have? A. Okay. 13. Give the English meaning of the phrase. How we got this Sanskrit messed up like this? Phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti nai. What is that? Nai, you can't read it here. Nashtikam. Okay, that's number 12. Apnoti nashtikim. Nashtikim. Okay, so what is what it means? By offering results to activities to me, one attains unadulterated peace. So that's important. That's why this part of the verse in Sanskrit has been chosen so that we understand that what is the peace formula? That will come at the end. Okay, so I won't ask like this. But why do we want peace? Like why? Like there was that they did some survey in US, something, and they asked people that what is it that you're really, looking for in life? What is it that you really want in life? And then, of course, there were so many answers were there. But what do you think the most people said? What they're looking for in life? Oh, any other guesses? Huh? Money.
They want some satisfaction.
They want some satisfaction. Huh? They want enjoyment, so that's the same thing. Just differently. Plus peace of mind. Peace of mind, because there's so much, even you want money and this and that, but you're so stressed out and so much anxiety and so much pressure and so many things. It's a peace of mind. Because if you have everything, you may have the whole world, but you don't have peace of mind, you'll be happy? You'll be happy? Kamsa Sudana. Kamsa Sudana. Who is Kamsa Sudana? Krishna. So what did Kamsa, what was Kamsa's position? Kamsa was actually even more powerful than the demigods. You know that? He was so powerful. And he practically had everything. Except what? Peace of mind. Why? Because it was already prophesied that a child of Devaki is going to kill. And that's how he was always thinking of Krishna. Even at night he was dreaming, he had nightmares, he couldn't sleep, thinking how Krishna is going to kill me. So he had everything, but he didn't have peace of mind. So then what is the use? So when you don't have peace of mind, what is the use? No? So that's why peace of mind can be attained. How? If you work and offer result to Krishna. So don't be attached. Whatever you do, whatever you get, and how much, just be happy with that and just offer it to Krishna. Yeah. Like the example of Kolovecha Sridhar, who was a very, very simple Brahmana. And what did he do for his living? He was making leaf cups from banana leaves. Yeah. And he lived so simply. His hut was even, there were holes. It was raining sometimes. And in his lota, he had one lota. He used it for various purposes also. It was all old and, leaking and, And he had just one set of clothes which he would wash and dry and immediately, like this use. It's just so, he had nothing practical. And then what he did, he would sell these cups, and 50% of what he would earn, he would offer for worship of Ganga. And with 50% he would just, buy something to maintain his body, that's all. So he lived so simply. And he didn't hanker for, you see how much money other people are earning, how much money, how many things, how many other people think, how many things other people have. And so he didn't care about this. Whatever he got, he was so happy. Yeah. And then who came to him, who was so satisfied with his devotional simplicity like that? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's how he attracted Krishna. That's the whole point. And somebody who had so much and whatever, they didn't attract Krishna. Because they were not simple in their mind and they were not peaceful. So that's why one has to learn how to become satisfied with whatever comes on its own accord. And that's not easy. Why? Why it's not easy to be satisfied? Because nowadays, what do we do? What do we do? When you live together and you see somebody gets this much and I don't, then what happens? Or you study together, or you work together, and there are different results, and then what happens? No, that's incorrect. Jealousy.
Enviness.
Envy has a difference between jealousy and a big difference. And what else happens? What we are discussing here? What else happens? You're not satisfied. That's the whole point. You're not peaceful. And no matter how much you have, like you may say, I'm suffering now. Anybody here who is suffering for some reason or other? Anything? Something must be there. Something. Huh? Something is there. Some anxiety is there, right? Something is there. Some suffering is there. And just look at the news and just see how people are suffering when some bombardments are going on and, no food, no water, it's cold like anything, no heating. Then wouldn't you feel a little relief, understanding that maybe I'm not doing as good as somebody else, but at least, I'm not suffering like someone else either. Huh? So everything is so relative in this material world. So no matter what the position it might be, actually, but, we are looking for unadulterated peace. But how to get that? So just learn how to be detached, offer your results to Krishna, that's all. Whatever results are there, offer to Krishna. And if Krishna wants to give you the whole world, like that's just the position of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was happy in the forest, he was happy, reigning over the whole empire. It didn't matter to him because he was doing it for Krishna. And when Krishna left, he left that empire instantly. He didn't care about empire, position, throne, sitting on the big chair or this and that. Oh, we got some snacks now? Hey, I told Deepak to offer, where's Prasadam? We ordered Prasadam, nobody picked it up. What's going on? That's a whole big feast. All of you people offline, missing the big feast. See, nobody had come. What a space out case. That's incredible. Okay, actually I didn't even notice here, it's already 9 o'clock. So we stopped at the 13th question. Okay, we'll have a big feast now. And all of you people who are missing, what can be done? Next time, you should come here. Okay, so we'll continue next Thursday. Try to complete as much as we can to learn something more about this 5th chapter. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Jai.